Michigan lawmakers finalized a $666 million transfer for General Motors projects, and Ukrainian embassy draws U.S. citizens seeking to fight in the war.
Later on, I will have your weather for the weekend, and Scott will have your sports update. Hello, I'm Susanna Gwynn.
And I'm Scott Minshaw, and this is Public Eye News. Lawmakers in Michigan have authorized $666 million worth of state funds to finalize an incentive plan for General Motors to build an electric vehicle plant in the state. General Motors, which is headquartered in Detroit, is currently planning to spend up to $4 billion in order to convert and expand its plant in Orion Township to make electric vehicles. The state funds will help to offset the massive investment by General Motors and further encourage the company to bring businesses and jobs to the state of Michigan. The new construction is expected to create up to 4,000 jobs at the Orion plant. A group of 16 people, including a dozen doctors, have been sentenced to prison in Michigan and Ohio today in a case of health care fraud that included the distribution of over 6.5 million opioid doses. The scheme, which took place from 2007 all the way up to 2018, included multiple clinics spread between Ohio and Michigan. Officials say the doctors would refuse to prescribe medication to patients at the clinic unless they agreed to unnecessary and expensive back injections, which at times were extremely painful. The clinics, now being described as pill mills, were frequented by both addicts and drug dealers who were oftentimes seeking high doses of prescription drugs such as oxycodone.
And on Wednesday, authorities in Lansing, Michigan announced the first criminal charges that stem from the state's review of several sexual child abuse lawsuits against the Boy Scouts of America. Mark Chapman, a 51-year-old man, is accused of sexually assaulting 2 boys during his time as scoutmaster in the Detroit suburb of Roseville, the same area where he worked and was a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Chapman was charged before his release from a New York prison after serving more than 9 years for child abuse charges unrelated to the Boy Scouts investigation. The charges come after the Attorney General's Office and Michigan State Police launched a review last year of more than 5,000 civil claims forwarded by the Boy Scouts, which has resulted in at least 60 inquiries sent to state police for further investigation. Last month, the Boy Scouts reached a settlement with a bankruptcy committee that represents more than 80,000 men who alleged that they were sexually abused by adults within the organization. In all, the compensation would amount to more than $2.6 billion, the largest aggregate sex abuse settlement in United States history. And in more legal news, on Thursday, the Wisconsin Supreme Court will consider whether to remove a conservative DNR board member, Fred Prune, who refuses to step down, even though his elected term ended almost a year ago. The judges will hear oral arguments against Democratic Attorney General Josh Kaul's lawsuit seeking to oust Prune from the board. This case could potentially define the extent of Wisconsin governor's appointment for several years, in addition to affecting current environmental and hunting policies. Preen has argued that he does not have to step down because the Republican-controlled Senate has not confirmed Democratic Governor Tony Evers' appointee. The board is currently a 1-vote conservative majority. Preen points to a 1964 state Supreme Court decision that states gubernatorial candidates do not have to vacate their position until the Senate has confirmed their successor. Although Kaul filed the lawsuit in August seeking to remove Preen from the board, the decision ultimately hinges on the opinion of the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Now to a troubling story involving one of America's most successful filmmakers. Ryan Coogler is best known for being director of films like Black Panther and Fruitvale Station. But in January, he found himself being handcuffed at a Bank of America in Atlanta. Mola Lengi has more.
Minutes after passing a note to a bank teller asking her to be discreet over a money withdrawal, filmmaker Ryan Coogler is approached by police.
Hey, sir. Hey, man. Do me a favor, man. Come this way. What's going on, man?
Both of the officers draw their weapons before placing handcuffs on a surprised Coogler. They were there responding to a possible bank robbery in progress. Coogler was in a Bank of America branch in Atlanta where he's been filming the sequel to Black Panther. According to the police report, Coogler passed a withdrawal slip to a bank teller with a note written on the back asking her to be discreet when handing him $12,000 in cash. After being cuffed, Coogler was escorted to a squad car.
If you just run my name, you'll understand why you should take me off these cuffs. C-O-O-G-O-E-R, just put it in Google.
From the back seat of the squad car, Coogler explains to police he was trying not to call attention to himself in withdrawing such a large amount of cash.
If I don't
write down on a note how much I want out. And then I don't went and ran through the money counter right there at the desk. The whole bank ends up looking at me.
Kugler was uncuffed minutes later. CBS News reached out to Bank of America and didn't hear back. But a spokesperson told Variety, "We deeply regret that this incident occurred. It never should have happened, and we have apologized to Mr. Kugler." Through a rep, Kugler told CBS News this situation should never have happened. However, Bank of America worked with me and addressed it to my satisfaction, and we have moved on. Mola Lengi, CBS News.
Can you give him the case number?
Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back after the break with weather and national news.
This week on Ireland with Michael, we're in the dungeons of the Pirate Queen of County Mayo. This is the county where my family, the Launders, hail from, and a part of Ireland still left largely untouched by the rest of the world. As such, the land, its traditions and legends are entirely unique to itself.
Tonight at 5 on WNMU-TV.
Welcome back. My name is Susanna Gwynn, and I have your weather. If you'll take a look behind me at our beautiful Academic Mall campus, the clouds are nowhere to be seen, and the snow has started to melt. It looks like it'll warm up. Let's get into current conditions. Currently, it is cloudy, a temperature of 22 degrees, winds out of the west-southwest at 5 miles per hour, and a pressure of 30.21 and falling. Overnight tonight, the cloud cover will continue with a low of 11 and winds out of the south-southwest at 12 miles per hour. Into tomorrow, the clouds will stick around for a high of 23 and winds out of the west-southwest at 17 miles per hour. Let's take a look around the whole of the UP. It is a mixed bag of clouds, sun, and even a gale warning. In Sault Ste. Marie, it is 21 and partly cloudy. Escanaba, 22 and partly cloudy. In the western half, it is 18 in Houghton with a gale warning and 22 in Marquette with a freezing spray warning. So please be careful and dress accordingly. Let's look into the weekend ahead. On Saturday, it is a high of 18 with partly cloudy and a low of 9. Sunday, a high of 35, partly cloudy and a low of 24. And heading into next week, Monday, a high of 32, cloudy and a low of 20. Let's throw it back to Scott.
Thanks a lot, Susanna. As we look around the country at news stories, the number one today being the Russian invasion of Ukraine is entering its third week. Ukrainian government officials are now seeking volunteers from around the world to join the fight against the Russian forces. The Ukrainian embassy, located in Washington, D.C., is currently combing through thousands of applications from Americans who wish to join the fight in Ukraine. While the embassy has received over 6,000 applications from American citizens, only 100 so far have been approved to travel to Ukraine to fight. The embassy says it is looking at things such as experience and skills when determining whether or not to accept an applicant. More than 27,000 votes have been flagged for rejection in Texas today as the state tests new voting restrictions that have been enacted across the country. The restrictions, which appear to flag votes cast for both Republican and Democratic candidates alike, are causing concern as many feel that their ballots may not count at all. The laws are causing massive concern for citizens in the state of Texas, with some voters saying they found it extremely difficult to vote. One Houston resident said it took her 28 days and 3 tries to vote, and even then her ballot was rejected due to the new restrictions. Election officials in the state are remaining optimistic and hope that with time the new system will begin to work more efficiently. In the Florida Panhandle this morning, a raging wildfire has now burned more than 33,000 acres. It's one of 3 wildfires that have destroyed 2 homes and damaged 12 others. Manuel Bojorquez shows what is fueling the unusual fires in northern Florida.
I was telling my husband I'm not going in the house. And of course I get here and I change my mind.
We walk through what's left of Paul and Lori Schumann's home. Scorched heirlooms and burnt rubble are all that remain.
The only thing I've actually been able to think, or can't stop thinking about for the past 4 days is my dog.
That hurts the worst.
Every time I think about her, trapped in this house.
Across the Panhandle, tens of thousands of acres have been scorched so far, fueled by a massive swath of debris. Nikki Freed is Florida's agriculture commissioner.
So here we are 4 years almost after Hurricane Michael, and would you say that we are still dealing with the impacts?
Absolutely.
That's because remnants of Hurricane Michael's wrath in 2018 are amplifying this new problem.
When you have 2.8 million acres of cut trees and broken trees, it is very hard to clean up the area. And why this area is now so prone to potential fires is because the canopy that used to be from all the timber trees used to help keep everything a little bit more moist on the ground. When there is no canopy, it is just becoming drier and drier, which is just fuel for these types of fires.
For the Schumans, who also lost their home to Hurricane Michael, it's another disaster, another time to rebuild.
Yes, we lost, and we'll deal with it. We'll get through this. We'll rebuild again somewhere. It won't be here.
As for the cause of the fire, officials believe smaller backyard fires may have sparked them after being spread by windy conditions. Some good news, it is raining and there's more rain in the forecast, and that should help the firefight. Manuel Bojorquez, CBS News, Panama City, Florida.
After this break, we will be back with your sports update. Stay tuned.
He electrified television audiences in Jesus Christ Superstar and broke their hearts in Rent Live. Now, the Tony, Emmy, and Grammy Award nominee brings his singular talent to a spirited and soulful night of song. Celebrate Broadway's best in Stars on Stage from Westport Country Playhouse, Brandon Victor Dixon.
Friday night at 10 on WNMU-TV.
MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred has canceled 93 more regular season games today as the strike in professional baseball enters its 98th day. The new cancellations add up to 184 games now canceled, which means that almost 8% of the games originally scheduled for the year have now been called off. This all but cuts off any chance baseball fans had at seeing a full 162-game season. Commissioner Manfred has said that the logistical challenges of trying to correct the schedule will mean opening day is going to be pushed back until at least April 14th. Sources with inside knowledge of the ongoing negotiations between the owners and players are saying that the sides are extremely close to reaching an agreement. The Michigan Wolverines lost earlier today to the Indiana Hoosiers 74-69 in the second round of the Big Ten tournament. Indiana overcame a 17-point deficit by going on an unbelievable 31-9 run to send Michigan packing as they head back to Ann Arbor, closer to the bubble of not making the NCAA tournament than they ever expected to be. Indiana heads to the conference tournament quarterfinals with the win and also adds a huge upset to their resume as they head into selections for March Madness. Quarterback Carson Wentz has been traded to the Washington Commanders from the Indianapolis Colts in a trade that includes 2 third-round picks and a second-round pick. The trade has received mixed reactions from Commanders fans as Wentz has had multiple unreliable seasons the last few years. The quarterback has been plagued with inconsistency and injuries throughout his career, which included time in Philadelphia where he sat on the bench during the Eagles' Super Bowl victory back in 2017.
And calling all students, the NMU Career and Summer Employment Job Fair takes place next Tuesday, March 15th. The fair from 1 to 4 p.m. will take place in the Northern Center and will host almost 100 companies, and it is a great opportunity to discuss full-time, part-time, summer jobs, and internships. All students who register with Handshake will be placed into a drawing to win one $25 gift card. There will also be an opportunity to get professional headshots taken and get up to 10 copies of your resume printed for free. Bring your student ID and dress for success in this great networking opportunity.
Well, it seems like that job fair is going to be an excellent opportunity for NMU students coming forward here, Susanna.
Oh, absolutely. I know I will be there. I cannot wait to kind of network and just meet new people and meet new employers.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like over 100 companies. I'm sure there's going to be great summertime employment opportunities that's coming up in only a few short months here.
Absolutely.
Some great stuff, some great opportunities there. Well, that is all the time we have for you today here on Public Eye News. On behalf of everyone down here on the Penn crew on PBS Channel 13, I'm Scott Minshaw.
And I'm Susanna Gwynn.
Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow for another edition of Public Eye News.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.